Welcome, Centurions. This is your Commander Foley speaking to you. Welcome to Trekyards.
Sorry, my audio is cloaked. Sorry, there's a button.
It's Sub-Commander Cockings. We're going to talk to you today about your uniforms and how they should look and how they should be presented.
Because somehow, Stuart, despite them not being discovered yet, we got Romulans in Strange New Worlds. Which people would have thought, wait, what? If we'd said that pre the show, but they had an alternate universe sort of slant, which we appreciate. And so they got to do a whole lot of designs. We get to cover them. We've done that throughout the week. And here we're looking at the uniforms. 2 new uniforms, or 3 sort of, 2-3. We're going to compare them to the originals and just how they work by themselves. So here's the first shot, Stuart. It's sort of the close-up detail and more mid-shot. Obviously, the commander has a sash, but apart from that, they're the same design. So what are your thoughts when you saw them, and what do you think staring at them now as stills?
When I first saw them, I really liked them. I thought they were pretty well done. Then I went back and watched Balance of Terror, and I was like, I see what they were going for. Similar look and feel. But the commander seems to have more of a intricate pattern on them. But it kind of ties in with the TNG Romulans and stuff as well. So, I mean, it's a good balance of the two, and I really like it, actually. How about you when you first saw it?
No, I thought they were great. Saying do they feel Romulan is a very hard thing to ask, because Romulan is such a weirdly specific aesthetic. I think they're different enough to be their own thing, but when you see them in comparison to what they were, you're like, okay, they pulled the details over. It's just so up-resed that that's now such a small part of the overall aesthetic. So I like them a lot, but only once you know what they should look like, you know they're Romulan, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Although, obviously, Sarek, not Sarek, never had a sash, so they've already, retconned, you know what I mean? Like, he never had that. So already there's like a visual difference. But no, I thought they were very nice for what they were. And there's a officer uniform and a Centurion uniform. But I like them quite a bit. But let's compare them directly, Stuart. Here's next shot with sort of a relatively like-for-like comparison shot. And yes, they kept the, not quite as bright a purple, but the set slightly darker. But yes, the huge purple with a triangle. So they're trying, right? Right?
They are, yeah. And that's one of the things I really appreciated, that subtle little touch there. I don't know. I mean, other than the sash, there's not really much the same going on. The high belt, I guess. But the purple and the triangles are what is the visual tie-in, and I think it worked really well.
Does this make you think the TOS one's just way too simple for its own good?
Yes. But, yeah. I still like the TOS aesthetics, so it's fine.
It kind of has more of a jumper vibe. Now you sort of forcibly look at a still, So that odd. I don't know what the fabric's trying to be. I don't know what it is exactly. And if you take it's a little different shot where without that purple, it's just like a guy's top. It kind of lose that ness. And the new one, I do also think, in a sense, just feels like a dude's jacket with a sash, which is actually a good thing in that it keeps that. He doesn't feel like a formal military uniform, the new one. But neither does the old one, which I like. It does just feel like a jacket you could put on with some slightly oddly adorned, collar. If you took the collar away, you could see that in, London, Camden Street, just some guy's leather jacket, you know what I mean? So there's a certain casualness that's kind of kept over, which I quite like.
Yeah, that being said, I mean, I feel it looks military enough. Especially with the high collar, that definitely helps. So,
like I say, that's the bit that takes over there. If you took that away, you could just see it on the street. The next video is like for like. Apparently, this might be the same guy in the same uniform at the same time, because it's unlikely that, given it was the same people in the same place. Although in fairness, the older Centurion man wasn't there, so things had changed enough. So I guess this day he had decided to wear his sash without his friend. Maybe his friend hated the sash, so decided not to wear it. But without his friend on the ship, they decided to keep a sash.
He was just down in his quarters. And by the way, there's also another difference. In Balance of Terror, they call the Praetor a he. And in this one, the Praetor is a she. So, small little thing. But
that's a huge thing, because it means there was a coup at some point, either one way or the other. Wow, Pike not being injured 6 months early really affected entire Romulan election.
Everything's it should.
Wow.
A lot of things it shouldn't have, that's for sure, yeah. I love that he stands out more in the new one because he is the commander. So to have the extra stuff on the sash there is a nice little touch, but it wasn't really necessary or required. But I kind of like that idea. I just wish this would have been on the older gentleman. I know he was actually the older guy in the original was just a centurion, so which was kind of weird. They're going for fancy, and it works.
It's a bit too Klingon-y, though. It feels to me like another version of Worf's sash, which is not this culture. I don't remember them ever using sashes in TNG or Nemesis, but then it's a Klingon thing. See, if I was them, I would have had it go across or be on the other shoulder, rather than like blocking all of the unique purple. Have it be on the other, because then you're doubling down on detail rather than just having plain shoulder, extremely busy side. Although it's funny that this makes me appreciate, and I've digitally enhanced all the Strange World pictures because they're very dark and etc. etc. I always do that. I miss instantly the brighter pop of color, having that purple reflection detail, the lighting. You know, Strange World. It's just he looks so bland. I mean, the purple's almost entirely lost. Where was the mood lighting to kind of create those pop highlights? It was a very dreary, and we've either looked at or we're going to look at the bridge, and it's very dreary as a set. Now I'm seeing both sides, like, boom, that purple really helps to accentuate, and then the other one's just boring visually.
Yeah, and it's funny because when I watched Strange New Worlds originally, I did not notice that he had the triangles underneath that thing. Maybe because of the lighting, maybe just because whatever, but that's quite interesting.
Well, I noticed it was the same costume as everyone else. He just had a sash, so I got that by fiat. But it's a great outfit. It's just, yeah, it would have helped have those little bit of purple reflections. And I'm not quite sure why the collar's so formal. All that does, it gives me Mirror Universe vibes with the bright gold plated. I don't know why. I mean, have some Romulan emblems on there, maybe. Have maybe like epaulets, details that have the Romulan symbol. Just feels slightly different compared to the rest of the uniform, as just for the sake of having a big collar with metal uncomfortableness on it.
Maybe it ties in more with the TNG aesthetic, like with the square shoulder pad things. They had the higher collars, I believe.
So we're just comparing the TOS today.
Yeah, I know. But they also had the straps that came down here, and some had two on one side or whatever. So I think they were trying to take some of that aesthetic into account as well.
That's a tricky one because they really shouldn't, because it's so far in the future. But also that was an X-era costume. This should not reference either, because both are like 80 to 100 years away. You don't tend to reference uniforms that far away either side, necessarily. But either way, it's still cool. But the next shot, though, is the blink and you'll miss it guy, and it is an alternate uniform variant, and it's alternate in many ways. There's different color. The whole uniform is just different. And I was going to get one freeze frame of a TOS guy. And as I said before, once he loses the sash, he's just wearing a jumper. The other guy, though, very much more Romulan-y. But yeah, what do you think side by side comparing? Because he's a 2 Centurion, just normal guard.
Yeah, take away the sash on the new guy, and he's pretty much would fit right in with the TOS crew. Even the headpiece, I really like the headpieces for the Romulans in TNG or TOS better though. In TOS, they're designed to kind of look like a bird's head almost. The new ones feel like, yeah, they had a thing on their head. Let's redesign that. So I don't know. It kind of loses a bit of the look for me. But honestly, it's kind of like a lazy day in the winter where you have a sweater on and some jogging pants, and just happen to have a
leggings, yeah,
strapped to your leg. So
yeah, I will say the guy on the right, if you change the face slightly, it looks like Elnor. You know, because it's robes. I mean, that is super non-military looking. You know what I mean? If this is a guard, he's just a guy in robes. There's something slightly disconnecty with that. But like I say, Elnor and our branches, maybe they their military just uses robes. But the fact that they were clear enough to do blue equals guard, pop's nice. They clearly designed a Romulan phaser disruptor. We just didn't see it. Is that implying we're going to get Romulans in season 2? Probably, because that's designed. It's put there. And yeah, the helmet's a tricky one because the original one is so unrealistically bulbous, but it also looks like a functional helmet, like a military like an actual protective helmet. The new one's a headpiece as a decorative thing. So they're radically different feelings. You know, you don't look at a standard military helmet and think, wow, it's actually to protect you. There's a big difference. And the new one kind of reminds me of Doug Jones in Space Command, that headpiece. That kind of silver, very, very similar design. It doesn't feel like a helmet at all. It feels more like or even like Professor Xavier's Magneto, helmet thing. So that I think would probably...
That's what I was just going to say. Or the ice giants or whatever from Thor kind of have the same type of thing on, I believe.
It's too weedy. I don't know why they wouldn't just do it down to the ears, because they'd also save themselves the makeup, which was what the first one did. And I get having it in between the ridges are being maintained. That's clearly in the design philosophy. But by having it so high, it looks so unuseful. I would have actually had it protect, and it would have been kind of fun to have the exact same reference to the old one being, we're going to hide all of our makeup by having the helmet. But it seems to be trying to show all the makeup, which removes all the being a helmet vibe.
Yeah, feels like like I said, a Marvel like villain or something.
Yes. Yeah. He's far more distinct looking than the other Romulans in the crew. It might just be this actor as well. Has a very sort of specific look, but it makes him look more sci-fi for sure. But yeah, jump back to this picture. You can see the rest of his crew, who I thought was a great moment where he, taps on back saying, "Guys, we're gonna die, but it's okay." It's like, oh, what a lad, But this version, you kind of see them all together with clearly the guard uniform and the main one does work together as a distinct fleet format, or feel, I should say.
Mm-hmm. I like seeing the sash go all the way down too. I think that works really well. It looks really good. Yeah.
Well, he's got more of a skirt format. The other chap and the lady have got
These guys don't have disruptors either because they're not Centurions.
But it's interesting because the formality of kind of the waistcoat vibe of the middle one, the officer, and then the more casual robe version. Interesting choice. But I definitely think, again, you need more colour. It's such a grey, green, gross colour palette. It could have had to be the green or like a grey green. They could have had to be the pop green or pop purple would have really helped, I think. Made it look less gross. And that's just for me brightening up. It's meant to be dark and moody. As soon as you brighten up, it's clearly one tone, in terms of colour. And boy, this guy looks short, or that guy on the left looks very tall.
I'm not sure we're going to see Romulans again for Strange New Worlds, but it was nice to see them this one time, and who knows what's going to come up. So I thought it was a pretty good reimagining, so I was pretty happy with it. Comment down below, guys, what you thought about these uniforms and the new look of the Romulans, and do you think we'll see them again? We want to hear your thoughts. Also, like the video, subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to click the notification bell icon so you can join us for our lives, because you get notified when we do lives, when we upload videos. And if you're watching this video, which you probably are if you're hearing this, hit that super thanks. Just try to help us out with that. It's like a way to show your support for the channel. So you can also do that during lives as well, but I'll have Samuel tell you all about that.
Well, super chatting is amazing. It's like a super thanks, but much older and much more direct, because you're on a live with us, you say your 2 cents during any topic like Stranger Worlds, or even back the TNG reviews or other, because I do non-New Trek stuff for a while. It's going to be really refreshing, and super chat in those lives if you'd like to, or in our top 10s, etc. Or monthly, because we need that monthly support to ensure that we know what we've got coming in, so we know we can keep going, because super chats are sort of random as it goes. So 2 ways of doing that: either Patreon, it's monthly on the website called Patreon, or join the channel on YouTube if you want to stay in the YouTube bubble. Both are fantastic ways. Or a one-time donation, like a super chat, but not, is PayPal. Trekyards@hotmail.com. That goes for show costs, buy a new kit, etc. When things like microphones break, that's where the money comes from to fix them, and you guys notice no difference in quality. So we want to keep that quality high for you. So thanks in advance. If you can't, just keep watching, but if you can, please do. And like I said, thanks in advance.
So until next time, everybody, I'm Commander Foley.
And I know where the cloak button is, I'm going to ignore it and just say, I am Sub Commander Cockins.
Yes, and Jolan True, everyone.
Bye, guys.